with Shanier Davis from Solstice Sessions. I am the writer behind the blog. I hope you guys are all enjoying this November evening. I know it's a little bit rainy and chilly where I'm at, but it was the perfect time to kind of sit back, relax, reflect on a few things that I've had on my mind and that I wanted to incorporate into my blog. So I decided to come on here all chill and relax. I have on my head wrap, a nice little loose tee, and I'm here, you guys. I'm here tonight to talk about some real things. The topic I'm going to be talking about in this video is called Living in Your Truth. Now, I know I just made a blog post regarding that whole statement. And living in your truth can mean different things for different people. I know for me, it means being myself unapologetically, being the healthiest version of myself, being the most soulful version of myself, understanding, understanding how to bring out my best, to live in my fullest potential, to understand and be conscious of my decisions, of my feelings, of my logic, my heart, my reactions to things. And living in my truth means being honest with myself first and foremost. I know many times as humans, we go throughout life, we live in a way um, that is most appealing to our onlookers. Okay, nobody wants to, or most people, should I say, wants to be portrayed as bad or negative or just not doing anything with their lives. So most of the time we do things and we push ourselves hard to not only make ourselves feel better, but to look better regarding societal standards. So first and foremost, I believe living in your truth basically means understanding who you are. When you understand who you are, you have to learn how to dissect every part of your being. When you dissect every part of your being, you learn how to see yourself for the good, for the bad, um, for the things you're most confident in, for the things you're most insecure about. And it's really an emotional process, if you ask me. It really is an emotional process. I know for myself, one of the things that I had to do in order to really start having an understanding of who I was write it down. I'm a huge writer, as you guys know. I blog. Um, I'm in the process of writing and working on other projects, but one of the things I had to really do was write it down. I had to write down my worst, most negative, disgusting thoughts of myself, things that I was ashamed of, things that I didn't like about myself, my body, my personality, things that I thought could be better. And as I was writing this down, I began to cry. I began to almost get angry that I felt this way, or get angry thinking about some of the decisions I made in the past that I'm not, happy about. And I began to self reflect and really understand, wow, I'm cleaning up the mess, all the things that I've suppressed for years. I'm finally beginning to clean up. I'm finally beginning to love myself in a way that doesn't try to hide all these things, but that accepts all these things about myself, which was beautiful. So, understanding who you are requires you to dissect every part of yourself, every part of yourself. Okay, so what do I stand for? And I apologize if you guys see me looking down. I have a ton of notes in front of me. So, what do I stand for? What do you stand for? One of the things that I know that change throughout life many times is how we define our purpose. We can define our purpose through our careers, through our creative outlets, through our perspectives. So, one of the things I had to come to the realization of was understanding that my purpose could be a multitude of things. And that I could define my purpose differently based on how I felt, based on what my career choice was at the moment, based on the career path I wanted to take, and how I knew what I wanted to do regarding my career, regarding my personal life. I knew I wanted to write. That's my purpose. My purpose is to write and to talk. and to continue being a motivational speaker, to continue connecting with those who can relate to me and who can identify with not only things that I've gone through, but things that other like souls have gone through and have discovered through soul searching. I knew that I wanted to uh, gain more insight on what it meant to soulfully connect with others, soulfully become intertwined, and understand that we are all beings of light. You know, these bodies, these temples are all temporary. Temple is temporary, and this physicality that we hold so like close to ourselves, that we hold on so hard to, it does not define us. And we need to learn how to pierce the surface. We need to learn how to be more in depth with one another, with our goals, with our purposes, um, and with our perspectives. And this comes into play with how can we better ourselves, and we better ourselves by knowing ourselves more. We better ourselves by exuding kindness and positivity. We better ourselves by challenging ourselves and combating all those insecurities and innermost thoughts. When you live in your truth, people tend to have this misconception that that means knowing yourself is effortless. When you know yourself, that means you make limited or no mistakes. When you know yourself, that means that you are living on this cloud nine, and basically you just are this peaceful, kumbaya in a circle type person. And it's the complete opposite. Knowing yourself means that you're still gonna, maybe make some of the same actions, maybe respond the same or react the same, but understanding when it's time to grow, understanding when it's time to accept your differences, understanding when it's time to connect with others, and being and living in the most healthiest version of yourself, of your soul. That's what living in your truth is. Living in your truth doesn't mean changing completely and becoming this um, unrecognizable person. And when you grow, you're gonna change. We're gonna change no matter how much we don't want to or how much we do want to. It's inevitable. But when you live in your truth, it's not about changing to become greater, it's about embracing to become greater, loving yourself to become greater, growing to become greater. Um, and I think you can do this all by finding an outlet, whether it be a creative outlet, whether it be an emotional outlet, whether it be just learning how to understand yourself in different ways and learning how to prosper emotionally, spiritually, physically, and mentally. Um, and make a difference with that, whether it mean volunteering in your community or writing or singing or acting, doing things to bring out the best in you, doing things to make you feel good as a person. Like that's what it's all about. At the end of life, I don't think anybody goes back and they think, oh, I remember when I had all these clothes and I remember when I looked like this and it's like, yeah, those things would be nice to remember, but we always remember how we felt. We always remember how we made others feel. We always remember the memories that bring the most happiest, um, you know, priceless moments in our lives. Not materialism, not the physicality of it all. Um, so I think that's important. And last but not least, I wanted to emphasize being unapologetically yourself. I've definitely gone through the struggle when learning how to become myself. I think the hardest part was uh, accepting myself for myself. I think so many times, no matter if we like to admit it or not, we see new fads, we see new things, we see new fashions, we see this, we see that. And subconsciously, we keep these thoughts in our head and we begin to become those things, or at least try to become those things. And when we fall short, or when we don't fit that description, or when we don't seem to really have an understanding of who we are anymore because we're so quick and busy trying to become something else that naturally we're not, um, it's frustrating. We feel like we failed. We feel like we don't have much to show for ourselves. Why is it that we don't have different examples of what or more examples or more diverse examples of what a woman is? Why is it that it's okay to consider ourselves a bad bitch? Okay, why is it that all these things that um, we have become so conditioned to, and not knocking those things, because if you do that, that's completely up to you. Everybody has their own standards of living. But what I'm saying is, why hasn't it become more acceptable and more encouraged to dig beneath the surface and to emotionally take care of ourselves and to emotionally dress ourselves up and love ourselves and put ourselves first? And I think that's when it comes to being unapologetically you, because you realize I can embrace all these things on the outside. I can make myself look this way. I can do this. I can live this lifestyle. I can hang around these type of people. But in the end, am I being unapologetically myself? Am I really embracing every part of myself? Am I exuding every part of who I am? Am I? And the answer to that question, at least for me a couple of years ago, was no. Yes, I was doing things that I wanted to do, but I really wasn't doing things that I needed to do, which caught up to me. And overall, I had to learn that being apologetically myself meant embracing myself, trusting myself, and walking confidently, even when no one else understood, or even when people disagreed with me, or even when people lied on me, or even when people betrayed me. All these things that occurred took for me to look myself in the mirror and be like, this is who I am. And it's okay if I make mistakes. It's okay if I come up short. But I'm not going to apologize for loving myself in every part of my journey. So, yes, I hope that you guys are all encouraged to live in your truth. Please email me at solsticesessions@gmail.com for any questions or concerns and for any suggestions for any upcoming videos that I may post. I look forward to conversing with you guys soon. Have a good night.